Yes, sir.
All right, good afternoon. We'll get started with the first of the Alabama contingency. We have running back Damien Harris. We'll open it for Q&A. Again, if you'll raise your hand, we'll bring a microphone to you.
It's quick.
Go right down here in the front.
Christopher Walsh, Bama Central. Just last year as a player, how do you think you improved the most on the field, and what are you looking to improve the most this season?
I think last season I was a more explosive player. I was able to rip off more explosive runs, be a more explosive player for our offense. So I think that's how I improved going from my sophomore year to my junior year. But this year, my biggest focus is being the best leader that I can be. Before going to the draft and coming back for my senior year, being a veteran on this team is something that I take a great amount of pride in. So how am I going to positively affect my teammates? How am I going to set the standard for the young guys and the guys that need direction? How am I going to be the best possible leader that I can be? So I think that's going to be the next step for me as a player and how I can continue to improve my game.
Over here on the second row in the middle.
Hey, Damien. So you tweeted about UCF claiming the national title back in January.
Yeah.
They're still at it, still claiming the national title. So how does that make you feel going into the season that they are also saying they're the defending champs?
To be honest with you, I kind of lost interest in that whole thing. It's kind of fun in the beginning, but ultimately, I'm kind of focused on us and our team and how we can continue to improve and how we can go into the season and be the most successful we can possibly be.
We'll go over here on the end, far left side, front row.
What sort of similarities do you see between Jerry Jeudy and Calvin Ridley?
Almost the entire game. I mean, the way they run routes is the same. The way they catch the ball, the way they look it in, everything that they do is the same. The open field moves are the same. So, Jerry Jeudy's a great young player for us, and I think that he'll really step into his role this year with Calvin being gone and really fill that role just as effectively as Calvin did. So, he's one of the young guys. We got a lot of talented young guys, especially at the receiver position. So, I think all of those guys will kind of step up and play that role to the best that they can.
Well, over here on the second row, all the way to the right.
Goody Snell Jr. said he was the best running back in this conference. What do you say about that?
Good for him. I mean, it's great for you to have confidence. I mean, who doesn't think that they're the best? A lot of people, you're not the first person to ask me about that comment, but I mean, don't we all think that we're the best in our position? So, some people say it, some people don't, but at the end of the day, we all want to be the best, and we're all going to compete to be the best. So, Vinny's a great player, and I look forward to competing against him at the end of the season.
Go to the camera position over here on the left side.
How would you like to see the quarterback position shake out, that battle for it? And what kind of preparation did you have coming into this event to try to field these kind of questions?
Well, before we come in here, they kind of give us a list of questions and how we could potentially answer them and what to expect and things like that. But as far as the quarterback position, the way that we feel as a team is we got two great guys that can step up and be leaders for our offense. That's just kind of how it is. Whatever happens, whoever shakes out to be the quarterback, that's up to Coach Saban and Coach Loxley. They're going to do whatever's best for our team. Whatever's going to put us in the best position to be successful as an offense. But at the end of the day, we got two great guys that can be leaders for our team, and we're very thankful for that.
Go down here on the front row.
Damien, what will you see from a Coach Loxley offense, running and passing? What's the differences?
Every coach has their own style. Coach Loxley obviously brings something different to the table than any OC that we've had in the past. But we're still trying to figure him out. He's still trying to figure us out as an offense and how he's going to do things personnel-wise. How we're going to split things up. So we're still looking forward to working with him. Fall camp's coming up, so we're really learning a lot about ourselves as an offense, and we're looking forward to it.
Go to the camera position right there in the middle.
Damien, can you talk about your relationship with both Jalen and Tua and what qualities they have that make them leaders on the football field?
I have a great relationship with both of those guys. They're both really great guys off the field as they are as quarterbacks. But one thing that's really impressed me about both of them, and one thing that I can say holds true to both of those guys, is you don't see this competition affecting them. If you just walked in, their relationship with each other, how they act with the team, you wouldn't really know that there's a quarterback competition going on. Both guys just come in day and day out and try to be the best players that they can be, lead this team, and just go on about their business. So their relationship with each other is really respectable. The way that they come in and work with each other and push each other to get better. Excuse me. But it's really remarkable about those two guys, and I really appreciate the relationship that those guys have.
Go to the left side on the aisle, second row.
Hey, Damien. Right here.
How are you?
Doing well. What is the mindset for this season, and has any player engaged in any of the rat poison?
No, Coach Saban does a good job of making sure we don't do that. But, you know, the mindset going into this season is we know that our success isn't going to be inherited. So anything that we want to accomplish as a team this season, it's not going to come from the fact that we won a national championship last year. If anything, that's just going to make it that much harder. We know that winning a national championship kind of puts a target on your back. So we know that day in and day out, we're going to get everybody's best game. So we have to prepare ourselves and both mentally and physically, so that we can handle any situation that's thrown at us if we want to have the success that we want to have as a team.
Go to the camera position on the front row to the right side.
Damien, with this being your fourth offensive coordinator in the last 3 or so years, is it ever tough for you guys to get into a rhythm, and how do you kind of get through that?
I mean, it's always different. Like I said, every coach brings a new style to our offense, but ultimately, Coach Saban's just doing what he thinks is best for us as an offense. You know, guys get positions that they want to take, and so he always brings the next best guy. So you just got to have faith and trust in the process, and trust the fact that Coach Saban's going to do whatever he can to make us the most successful offense.
Over here on the aisle, third row on the right side.
Damien, Nick Saban turned 67 years old this year, but doesn't show any signs of slowing down. Is that the way you see it, and what's it like to observe him, and what are some things that you observe that make him great?
You know, just his focus, I mean, I don't even know how to describe his want to be the greatest ever. You know, the way that he pushes us, I think one thing is one of the greatest things that we could have as players. You know, having a guy that pushes us so much to be the best people that we can be, best football players that we can be. You know, it's just an incredible honor to be able to say that I played for him for 4 years, and you know, it's just something I'll always be thankful for. And I know that later on in life, I'll look back and be thankful still as I am to this day, you know, that we have been able to play for Coach Saban.
Go over here all the way to the end on the left side, third row.
Hey, Damien, you had 6 true freshmen making impactful plays in the second half of the championship game last year. Was that something you would even notice at the time, that you had that many true freshmen out there, or are we to the point now that you've had a couple classes come in behind you that just true freshmen every year are more and more prepared to play right away?
You know, I didn't really notice that. I think that the reason why is because, you know, from the moment you get on campus, you know, you're expected to play to the standard. You know, the process that everybody talks about, the standard that Coach Saban said, everybody's expected to live up to that standard, whether you're a freshman, you're a senior, anywhere in between. So that's just kind of what's expected of you. So we don't treat them any differently just because they were true freshmen, or we're not surprised at the fact that they played so well as true freshmen, because at the end of the day, that's kind of what's expected of you.
If you got a question for Damien, just raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. Go to that camera platform in the top left back there.
As you guys are coming up the road, you see the building, any of the fields start coming back, and you play here in Atlanta a lot. What does it mean when you guys are playing games here in Atlanta?
Atlanta's been good to us. And, we've had a lot of good moments here, so it's always a pleasure to come back and visit Atlanta.
Go to the third row right here in the middle.
What was the team reaction to the one loss you had last year, knowing that you would still likely get an opportunity to make the college football playoff, but the fact that there is such an expectation of success, what was it like just to maybe hit that reset button and then make your way to a college football playoff title game again?
I definitely think it reset our focus. I think that towards the end of the season, the end of the regular season, we kind of got complacent as a team. But, you know, losing's never fun, and it's not something that, you know, we expect to do. You know, you can look at it and be like, it's just one loss. You know, at the end of the day, you won a national championship, but, you know, that's not the way we look at it. It's still a personal game for us, and, you know, ultimately we lost, and that's not something that we look forward to doing. So, you know, it still kind of strikes a nerve to this day.
We'll go over here to the back row in the middle on the right side.
With all the success that your program has had, winning national championships every couple of years, how do you not overlook the smaller teams or just automatically think about the college football playoffs?
It's not hard. With Coach Saban's your coach, things like that come pretty easy. You know, no matter who we're playing, what week it is in the season, whether we're playing a Power 5 team or not, playing for a national championship or not, one thing that we always focus on is just being the best team that we can be. We're confident in the fact that if we play our best football, offense, defense, special teams, that you know, we're capable of being the best team in the country year in and year out. So every day in the off season, practice, that's how we prepare. Is that so? Regardless of who we're playing or regardless of what situation we're in the game, we can be the best team we can be.
We'll go right down here in front, on the left side.
I'm sure whenever you get a question about would you like to be more involved or get more carries or anything like that, the answer is yes. But would you really like to be more involved in the passing game and get more receptions this year? Is it a point of impact or a point of emphasis?
Me, are you asking if that's what I want personally?
Yeah.
Whatever the team needs, if that's what we need as an offense. If Coach Loxley and Coach Saban decide that that's something that will make our offense better, yes. If not, no.
Go to the back row on the left side, right in the middle.
Damien, when you made the decision to come back for your senior year, you referred to enjoying the experience and enjoying college. What do you enjoy, besides just the football part about it? What do you enjoy about the University of Alabama and your experience there?
I just love Tuscaloosa. I love being a part of the University of Alabama, and that's something that brings me a lot of happiness. Just the mindset across the entire University of Alabama is that we're champions, whether it's from an academic standpoint or an athletic standpoint. That's just the mindset of the entire University of Alabama. I love walking down the street in Tuscaloosa and somebody yelling "Roll Tide," rolling down their window as they're driving by. There's just so many things about being a part of the University of Alabama, living in Tuscaloosa, that really bring us joy as athletes. So coming back for my senior year wasn't hard, and it's something that's really enjoyable for me.
Go to the back row, over on the right side.
What have your teammates told you about being stuck on a boat with Nick Saban?
I was there.
How was it?
It was horrible.
Tell me about it.
So it was Coach Saban's brand new boat. He just got it, so he took it out on the water, having a good time. All of a sudden, it just kind of stops. And obviously, he was upset. It's a brand new boat. She's like, "How are we running out of gas? It's a brand new boat." So it was obviously fun though, getting to see him get worked up over something besides football.
Well, you're standing on the right side.
Damien, this is really basic, but what's motivating you right now in your senior season?
Being the best leader that I can be for this team. Being a senior this year, obviously makes me one of the veterans on the team. So how can I positively affect people? How can I kind of set the standard and point people in the right direction and just be the best leader for this team?
Got time for just a couple more. If you raise your hand, we'll get your microphone. Go right here.
Damien, you guys beat LSU last year, but defensively they seem to do a pretty good job on you. Can you talk about the job they did? And just the game, you guys haven't lost them in so long. Some people would say that game has lost its luster, but has it?
Absolutely not. The LSU game was really the most special game of the year. Two great defenses, year in and year out. Offense is trying to make plays against them. It's just one of those grinded out games. And usually those games lead right up until the fourth quarter until somebody kind of breaks through. But I wouldn't say that game has lost any of its impact. I think that's one of our toughest games year in and year out. We have a lot of respect for those guys and we look forward to playing them every year.
The last question on the back row here in the middle.
As you mentioned, you've seen a lot of coaches come and go, usually to great opportunities. It wasn't your side of the ball, but what do you think about Jeremy Pruitt joining the University of Tennessee and what that might do to that matchup?
I actually saw him when I was walking through here earlier, but Coach Pruitt is a great guy. We wish him all the best of luck in Tennessee, and I think it'll be great for their program.
Thanks, Damien.